ticks off things when China surprises us. It all started with a Fury variant, it continued with a Toad Zebo in Phase 1, and China just continued to surprise us quite... You know, Phase Down has cooled off a little bit in terms of, you know, going all crazy, but there's still exotic things that happen to China every now and then.
Yeah, it's not a lot. It's not a long list at this point. As we can see here, we're gonna be going to Tomb of the Spider Queen for the next map. But yeah, this list is down to a very small amount of items right now, and they're all fairly absurd is the issue with it. So there's a very low chance of any of these being picked. Like, Possession was picked in mid-season brawl, so that one's probably the most likely at this point.
Yeah. And we all remember our Cho'Gall game last week. It was fantastic. Yeah, that was, I think, one of the rare items to be ticked off. Then we still have stuff like
Cho'Gall was.
Gazlo.
Furnace Blast. Gazlo is not on there because he was played last season.
True.
Yeah, it's like Kerrigan ult. It's mostly heroics at this point. Ultralisk, Rain of Destruction.
Is Rexar still on it? Because I can't remember seeing a single Rexar in China.
Yeah, Rexar's still on there. Rexar and Possession, I think, are the two most likely things. Minion build Asmodan, as in the Army of Destruction.
Good, okay. I mean, the moment Hanamura makes it into the official HGC map, I think that build is going to be seen very frequently because of the strong pushing power. Now, though, ladies and gentlemen, Game 2, Tomb of the Spider Queen. As you saw in the graphics, by the way, not the strongest map for HOTSLADY. They actually have a negative win ratio on it, 3-4. So could that be Wukong Gaming's chance, or is HOTSLADY just... Whoop, Malthael making it through once again?
Indeed. Is he first pick worthy, though? Last time it was Uther who was first picked by HOTSLADY. Are Wukong going to go the same strategy here and take him away, or are they too keen on that Malthael?
Yeah.
The 1v1 kill that they got early on was very effective. The Uther, though, too valuable, and they pick it up.
Okay, so how are they going to respond here? Anub'arak is no longer in the mix, so could they be picking the Malthael now? I mean, it's a pretty solid map for him still. His trait works on the Web Weavers. It's really good at clearing waves too. So there's definitely a chance or a possibility for him to be deployed. However, HOTSLADY also, they love the Zeratul every now and then. Is that a good battleground for him? I do think so. I'm not sure. Were you watching HGC Korea the other day when MVP Black's Rich went for that exact same build that Chicken once brought to the table?
Yes, I did. And
cool,
I still agree with it. I still think in some situations it's the correct choice if you're not going to get that kind of value.
Yeah, and to give you guys a short recap of what happened is we saw a full cleave Zeratul, and that is, of course, something that we're not really used to see because of Warped Blade and yada 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 making such a strong impact. But the enemy team had a lot of blinds, they had a lot of evasion with Illidan as well, so they went for an all-ability type of build on the Zeratul. Didn't really work out too well, but still, I think it was the correct choice.
Indeed, it's still cool. It's cool to see. It was also very old-fashioned of the whole. They had not the Vorpal Blade. What is the name of that jump in, jump out talent? Wormhole. That's it.
Wormhole, exactly.
Go in, blink in, then wormhole out after cleaving. It was cool. Also, someone calling for, in his words, a hero. I want Blizz to release a hero called Ana, so that we can all demand a banana. However, there is already an Ana, as I pointed out. Ana Amari, Farah's mother. Support sniper from Overwatch.
Oh, it's just a question of time then.
Indeed, exactly. They like their Overwatch heroes, and to be honest, I would not hate that as much as the other Overwatch heroes. It's actually the least mobility out of like any of the Overwatch heroes, so it's not going to be a mobility creep, and it would just be a straight up another support. So, yeah, that would be cool to see. Maybe in a little bit though. We're just about to have a support, so I'd say like 2 or 3 more heroes time. I think would be cool.
Yeah. And we see Wukong Gaming here. In the meantime, they deploy the Lunara. And I'm not sure what Lunara's win rate was when we first started casting HGC China Phase 2. However, it has increased significantly. It is now sitting at a 41% win ratio. And she did bring in the good results whenever she was picked in the first week. So I'm really thinking that Lunara is such a diamond in the rough still when it comes to ranged assassins that many teams often seem to overlook her, when in reality she can be really good. And guess what, Tetcher? Uther, the support that struggles the most when facing Lunara, now is in the same team, and I think that's already a nice drafting strategy that Wukong Gaming came up with here.
I'm not sure I agree with that one, though, because, yeah, you have the support that's worst against Lunara, but you now have Lunara yourself. Wouldn't you want the enemy team to have the support that is worse?
True. I mean, if the enemy team had Uther, you could always pick the Lunara. That might have actually been a little bit of a brain lag here on my part. But Uther is happy that he doesn't have to face her. Okay. Yes. I think we can agree on that.
That's all good. They picked it up for their own, for Uther's benefit, not for Lunara's benefit.
Exactly.
So that's all cool. We now have the Malthael banned out for multiple reasons. For starters, super good. For second, really does combo well with Lunara if you do want to go for an unfair advantage. Malthael does have an ability that makes his Q slow. So basically, you're going to turn the entire enemy team's health bar that sickly green color if you combine those two together, and Malthael gets a good Tormented Souls into spamming that Q button.
Oh, absolutely. We're also used to seeing a lot of Stitches Lunara for that very same reason. If you go Putrid Bow, you have one of the strongest AoE slowing effects or slowing abilities in the game, and Unfair Advantage is just going to wreak havoc then. Now, I love the adjustments by HOTSLADY. They were picking one of the strongest sustained healers in the game to counter the poison damage by Lunara, and that is, of course, Malfurion. And guess what? While he did lose a little bit of his healing powers, it should still be more than enough to counter some of the poison damage here. And they go for the Jaina. Now, Jaina is a hero that we're not used to seeing. Other mages like KT, Gul'dan, they're usually, and even the Chromie, they're a little bit more popular these days. However, Stitch's Jaina, that is, and Greymane too, that is some absurd burst follow-up damage after a hook.
It really is. That is a crazy damage output. Although it is still quite squishy, their backline especially. Greymane can get away with it a little due to having a little bit of armor. Is it 10 or 15 physical armor at this point? I think it's still 10, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 10 armor.
Yeah, so it's 10 physical armor. Jaina can get physical armor.
It's 10 normal armor, by the way, not physical. Like, the Worgen
it's 10 regular armor.
Yeah, oh, you said physical.
Yeah, I thought it was physical.
No, it's normal armor. It's against any form of damage, which makes it even more powerful.
Neat. That's pretty cool. Varian coming in here, giving themselves some extra lockdown, and the Li Ming, the Varian Li Ming combo, super deadly, and that's going to be super exceptionally effective against heroes like the Jaina and the Zeratul to finish up the draft of HOTSLADY. They have the VP Ring of Frost combo.
Oh, yeah. Now, here we go. That is some of the old school strategies, oftentimes deployed by teams like Dignitas during last year's World Championships. So I really like the approach here by HOTSLADY, trying to... The only thing I gotta say that I'm kind of worried about when I would be in the shoes of HOTSLADY is the Uther. Uther is the strongest anti-burst support in the game, with tools like the Divine Shield, the armor applied from his Devotion trait, so they're very much relying on bursting individual targets down with the Jaina, of course the Greymane Curse Bullet later on in Stitch's hook. Uther, if he's on point with his reactions, can actually save that target and maybe buy enough time for his teammates to counterattack.
Quite possibly. Just very quickly, quick shout out to Rally Jaffa. Thank you for watching. Great casting on HGC Korea a couple days ago. So
absolutely
really enjoyed that. And of course, guru of the Korean scene in general. If you follow him on Twitter, it is just all the information. But back to the drafts here. Both teams have a solid setup. I think execution-wise, it's a little bit easier for Wukong Gaming's draft to get executed, whereas potential-wise, HOTSLADY's draft could be far more deadly.
Alright, welcome to Tomb of the Spider Queen, ladies and gentlemen, in the second game between Wukong Gaming and HOTSLADY. In the left, we have the team that is currently leading 1-0. It is Y on his Jaina, Pommy on his support Malfurion, Lias... Well, that was quick.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Tetcher.
Well, Wukong Gaming, it is A-Ling on Lunara, Lao Hu on Varian Zip, Thus Moon on Li Ming, and Lang on Uther. Why they left that up a lot longer than they did for Harsh, guys. HOTSLADY, they're in the lead. Give them some time.
Yeah, give them some time to introduce the players. All right, ladies and gentlemen. As Tetra said, we have a We have a hard-to-execute comp for HOTSLADY with the Zeratul and the Jaina trying to go for that wombo combo blow-up style with the VP and the Ring of Frost follow-up. However, if they manage to get that done, there is definitely a lot of value to be gained.
Absolutely, we will have to see if they are able to get that done. The hooks, 2 have been attempted already, neither have landed, but you only really need 1. Whereas, like I did musically allude to just a couple seconds ago, it is a High King's Quest coming in for Varian.
Oh boy.
It's going to lead into a Colossus Smash build, as this is the more the... Oh, the hook onto Uther! The Brute not landed though, you got to time it. Got to get it earlier, and Carlo body blocking for Y, giving him the opportunity to retreat, nicely done. But yeah, Colossus Smash, a lot more preferable than the Twin Blade build these days. And against this composition, once again, I wouldn't hate it. Blow up that with Jada, and it'll blow up the Malfurion, and you're going to have a wonderful time. So I wouldn't hate that, and if not, Taunted to Li Ming, still great value.
Yeah, the High King's Quest, as you said, is normally the best talent when it comes to playing Variant aggressively with both Fury and the Colossus Smash, the twin place that is. So we could see either way, but as you said, we have seen Colossus Smash Variant do a little bit better, performing a little bit better than the Fury route here. It's a little bit safer to play because you can also go for the parry talent at level 4, Live by the Sword, which allows you to stay alive a little bit longer. Now Moon, unfortunately, walking right into the Blizzard as the third charge was still about to be rained down from the skies, and he took so much damage, no chance for him to get out of there alive. Now, I want to highlight real quick, we see the traditional Vorpal Blade build here by Zeratul this time around, so no cleave shenanigans. Another victim falls as Jaina continues to establish a frosty dominance on Tomb of the Spider Queen.
She really does, and even though she was actually engaged on by Lunara and Li Ming, she basically just took them to high school Yep, there it goes, it just expires. She basically just took them to high school gym class and just played dodgeball with them all day, dodging almost all the abilities and keeping herself alive, allowing for that turnaround hook lands. No roots. This time Pommy's not in range. Zeratul very nearly getting punished for going in.
Yeah, Elias playing with fire there for a bit, but of course didn't end up falling, but that was quite close. We see a very tanky Stitches build here, by the way, since he is the only frontliner. Of course, we are still used to seeing slam build Stitches even being the solo tank here, but I think they just want to make sure that they don't get burst down by the likes of Li Ming. Varian as well, after seeing that level 1 talent, you gotta have a lot of alarm bells ringing here, because that could still be a Colossus Smash, and guess what? You want to be as tanky as humanly possible after that.
Yes, you do. You very much do indeed. So we'll keep an eye on that, see if he's able to do so. Malfurion coming out with the Trient builds, which is kind of cool. It can get some really good damage output if you're able to continuously land those roots. And to be fair, if you want to stack it with a Stitches build, that probably makes the most sense. Jada damage onto 0. Is it enough? One more Frostbolt, maybe? There we go. Getting the kill. It was a Frostbolt and an auto attack, but that was enough to pick up the kill.
The beauty of having a Jaina against an Arthas who doesn't have any magic resistance pre-level 20. The irony, if you consider the lore behind it, it is just beautiful to see how Jaina performs so admirably well against an Arthas. Not only does Arthas not have any magic resistance before level 20 when he has the anti-magic shell potentially, but also he gets a taste of his own medicine. Arthas has no mobility to escape those slow effects provided by Jaina, while he himself is pretty good at applying slows, vice versa. So it's a really cool situation Arthas finds himself in. He needs to be super careful not to get caught by the Jaina slow.
It is, and like you said, very lore-friendly. I enjoy this, Bobby.
Oh my goodness!
Gets rooted and absolutely destroyed in Malfurion. This is why you need to take the safe rotation a lot of times, because he is squishy.
Oh, the body blocks in the bush, that's always a sign for Zeratul to be nearby, or any cloaked hero in the game. Like, when you can't really pass by a brush or a corner where you get those weird body blocks, then you may as well suspect that there is a hidden hero lingering in the shadows. So, really, really funny to have those moments every now and then. For now, though, HOTSLADY, they willingly gave that kill. Maybe not willingly, but they don't have to feel bad about it because they got the turn in as well. The Webviewers are pushing in like crazy. One tower is following after the other, and as you can see, that is going to get reflected in the overall XP count. 7, almost 8, to a fresh 7 here for Wukong Gaming. Now Lau, who he's in trouble. He did go for Live by the Sword, by the way. So the chances for Colossus Smash are steadily increasing.
Indeed, we will sometimes still see the we'll sometimes still see the second win. In fact, most of the times we will, despite them not actually synergizing together. The second win in the High Kings Quest. Ailing getting killed off. Lias into the backline. Nicely done, picking up that kill. But like you said, the Colossus Smash, this talent actually does synergize with it because it gives you more stacks of your trait, meaning you can get more burst damage in with the, while that vulnerable is active.
And here's the reason why it would be kind of weird to see a taunt variant at this stage, guys. If you go taunt, you want to go overpower at level 1 because you can guarantee at least 1 or 2 procs of the heroic strike when you force the target to attack you. Oftentimes, when you go tank variant, the enemies are not even going to try to attack you because not only do they not want to proc overpower, but also they don't want to give you cooldown reduction on your live by the sword talent at level 7, which, you know, is pretty solid when you get another instance of shield walls. So it wouldn't really make a lot of sense, in my opinion, to go for taunt here. Sure, they could try to have more blow up and basically give Li Ming an easier time focusing on that affected target by taunt, but overall, I would really like to see a Colossus Smash here.
As would I. We actually saw Greymane there using the fastest clear strategy as opposed to the safest. There are 2 strategies in clearing camps, and that is the fastest, which requires rotation around, making sure you hit the maximum amount of things as quick as possible. And then there's the safest, which is focusing them down one at a time to reduce the damage output that they are doing, meaning that you come out with a lot more health.
Yeah, once again, the hook goes down. Doesn't really connect, though. Always a good try to get something done, though. But once again, shout out to Rally Jaffa, who just said that Pommy plays a lot on the Korean Hero League ladder. So maybe you can provide us with some insight about his current ranking. Like, is he a Grandmaster there or just playing for the Masters? Would be cool to see because Pommy, we have a very special relationship to him. We've been praising him last season when he was in KISS, not doing too well as a team, but this season, this split here for HOTSLADY, things are just going so much better, and Pommy finally gets the recognition and the prestige he deserves.
Indeed, he is a fantastic player and now has a decent team to work with him, which is just allowing him to grow even more. We did see just quickly a talent thing showing that currently, Gorge bringing What? Yeah, he's delivered Arthas to his own team. They're going to try and kill him here. Arthas
the water elemental, by the way.
That worked nice. Yeah, the water elemental is coming in. Gorge
my!
That is, well, I have no words other than wrecked.
Wow! So, they even miscommunicated here, because normally you want to deliver the target right into the roots when you have a Gorge target done
successfully. I think he changed his mind.
Yeah, I think so
moved
too.
on to the point and stole the boss. And he was like, I'm not sure I should do this.
They were caught between, okay, we want to deliver this package safely to the rooting zone, but also we don't really want to have the boss smacking us, while Arthas could turn this round potentially. And we do see the Watermelon Mental. It is so cool to see that, though, because, let's face it, the Ring of Frost, it's cool to execute it with the VP, but there is the protection coming in from Uther, so with the Water Elemental, you actually get more sustained damage and more chasing potential. So cool.
You get the slow onto Lunara.
Also, don't forget the roots, right?
Yeah,
the roots. The roots would proc the Guardian of the Ancient Kings by Uther, too.
It would. Oh my god, the adjustments coming in here from these players. Why? Nice to see. It is a Colossus Smash, like we said, so the burst damage is good, but currently no stacks High Kings Quest that we have seen, so slightly less than ideal there. Other than that, fairly standard talents, but Colossus Smash into Leaping Strike could be devastating, so I look forward to see if they can execute that.
And don't forget that Lunara's Power Spike here is going to hit at level 13 when she gains access to that unfair advantage. So can Wukong Gaming survive until that point, though? That is the big question, because let's face it, HOTSLADY, they're putting on a clinic, and they know exactly that they would probably like to finish this game as quickly as possible before Lunara gets, you know, her additional Power Spike. So knocking on the front door here in the middle lane, bottom getting pushed as well here, but the Wedges have already taken some significant damage.
Stitches bringing out that flea bag. He's likely going to take Fish again to level 16, so he's getting that spam isolation attempt so that he can try and lock people down.
Stitches, caught one.
Already find Uther. There is the Gorge. Can they lock down? They drop the root, drop Uther into the root, but it's right near his team, so he's able to drop the Divine Shield. Lunara getting some good damage. Meg just turns it round. Meg finally, though, gets killed off as Pommy is getting so-zoned out. Leah's taken down. It's 2 for 1. Can Wukong Gaming continue to push through? The Water Elemental is slowing 0, but Y's being slowed by Arthas. It's a slow fight.
Oh, they're also low.
Y as they're turning it round. They're turning the fight easily on its head. And they push through, and this is why pushing into a Water Elemental or a Jaina is not always the best idea. Moon trying to 1v1Y, but the minions blocking too many shots. Just lag remaining, and he gets killed off. Full team wipe in exchange for 2 members by HOTSLADY.
It looked so good when Wukong Gaming had 2 kills under their belt, but in the end, they were too low to keep up the chase. They should have been like, okay guys, let's not get ahead of ourselves, let's not lose all of our caution and just dive in headlessly. Unfortunately, that's exactly what they did. And as you said, Jaina, she can execute reckless targets so nicely there. Malfurion also still available, providing them heals over time. So it looked good at the beginning, especially if you take into account that they were 1 talent down. But they just needed to pull the stop trigger. But it's very easy to say that in hindsight when you're watching and commentating the game, because Wukong Gaming, they must have felt really excited about it, and it's really hard to let go when, for the first time, things are going really, really well for you as a team.
Exactly, they're putting up a decent fight, but losing that was not good for them. It's a Juggernaut coming in from Varian, trying to get even more of that burst damage. They need to blow up something. The Water Elemental is already zoning Arthur so hard. She can't get him range. It's Carlo instead. Oh! The vulnerable Colossus smash onto Jaina, but it doesn't matter. The Twilight Dream turning it round as Lunara is dropped. Varian is zoned, completely destroyed by Y. Zero drops as well. Now it's just Lang once again. This is a familiar sight, and he can't 1v5, and he gets taken out. And even though they are very close to having enough gems, 54 out of 60, HOTSLADY, they know they can also get away with this. They're going to get a bot and a turn-in.
That was so well played by HOTSLADY. He needs to be careful though. Yeah, he took some good hits by the boss there, but that teamfight was so well executed by HOTSLADY. They were baiting Wukong Gaming to come deeper and deeper, you know, more into those slow effects by Jaina. They were all, and if your front line doesn't really get the grip, if they can't really seem to lock someone down, you might as well just abandon the chase altogether, because that wall elemental on the Arthas, as you said, it prevented him from getting anything done. Same for the Variant, and Wukong Gaming, they just kept chasing and chasing, and then there was this big bang, this big Twilight Dream from Pommy, hitting multiple targets, and from there it was just a very, very easy thing to just execute one after the other. So, well done overall. We see the Numbing Blast here, by the way, at level 16 for Jaina.
That's the root one, right?
That's the root, exactly.
Okay, I'm not sure I agree with that. I think the Vulnerable would be really nice for them here, especially considering, once again, you don't want to proc Guardian, so a little bit interesting, but overall, don't super hate it. I'm also kind of annoyed they did not get that turn in earlier, like right after the boss, so they could get both happening at the same time and put pressure on. Now they basically just limited their own ability to push.
Yeah, that would have been, of course, the ideal scenario. Now, they took a little bit of momentum away from themselves with the boss being wasted and the Webers arriving a little bit too late. Varian goes in full man mode, takes 50% of his health as a sacrifice, though.
Shield wall, keeping him alive. Stitches gets a Gorge already, trying to pull into the backline. VP to isolate, but they're not focusing Uther at all. He's taking his way through. The Twilight Dream will finish him off.
Here we go, and it's now a good situation for HOTSLADY. Every lane is getting absolutely demolished by the Webers. They can choose which keep to take down at this point. They go for the bottom, and I think from there on it's only a short walk in the park for that core attack Tetcher. Wukong Gaming, they fought valiantly, but is one Li Ming going to be able to do it all?
If there is a hero, it's going to be Li Ming because resets, but she is getting zoned out so hard. Everyone's so high on health. That is going to be GG. And we're going to see HOTSLADY taking the series in a 2-0. Now, that's so important for them because it moves them a little bit higher up in the table.
Yeah, very important not to lose track of their straight-up contenders here. But HOTSLADY, they take game number 2 in a pretty convincing manner. But once again, kudos to Wukong Gaming. Their drafts are looking better and better. Their team fighting looks good too, or not really good yet, but it's looking more solid by the weeks as they pass. So they fought valiantly. In the end, it was not enough to take down the ladies, who are now getting ever so much more closer to their rivals like SOA and RPG, who all gained some nice points last week.
Indeed, they are currently, with that win, they will be ahead of RPG by 2 points. It'll be 9-7, but RPG is still yet to play, meaning that if RPG won 1, then after this first rotation, HOTSLADY will be going in 4th place and RPG in 5th. So this is an important win for them. It's now really down to RPG to take a 2-0 versus KT to keep their 4th place position secure.
Super important indeed. And guess what? Today, HOTSLADY is going to take a look at this 3rd series, RPG and KT, and they're like, Yo, if that could be a 1-1 or maybe even a victory for KT, that would be so good for us, because then we would finally get some nice points between us and RPG, who are basically our rivals when it comes to maybe even making to the Eastern Clash. Because let's face it, nothing is decided yet. There's going to be a second round because it's a double round robin system after all, right? So teams can still make those improvements and they can still net all those points in order to make it to the Eastern Clash.